So in this country, we are trained to get 50, 60,000 in debt, and then we are proud of this piece of paper. We've accomplished something. Mom is proud of you. You did it. You didn't do nothing. You're 100 grand in debt. Next thing, you got to go get a job so you can pay off this paper. You got 6 months to start paying on it, right? Cool. Now you gotta go get a $50,000 car, $30,000 car, and because rappers are marketers, you feel like you got to get the Benz, right? So now you 50, 60 in debt, right? You still don't have a place to live. Go get a mortgage. All right, now a mortgage, 25, 250, 300,000. You're $500,000 in debt at 25, and you don't know how to make any money. Maybe you're making 75,000 a year, but you don't feel scammed. They really brainwashed you to believe all of this, and you don't believe you got scammed. I've chartered a jet one time. I went from Vegas to LA. It was 10 bands.
From Vegas to LA?
$10,000 one way, and that was a discount because I knew a guy. That was a price because I knew somebody, bro. I have 3 Rolexes. All of them are used. Because the dummies that went and bought Rolexes, I went and bought them on sale. You don't know that it's used. It's a nice presidential. Got it on sale, right? Because they ran out and did it, and now they out of money. They sold the Rolex. They bought it for 50, sold the Rolex for 10. I bought it for 15, but it's worth 50, and I'm gonna give it to my kid. So of course they're gonna change the rules. They're predators, and you was always meant to be the prey. The dumber you are, the more money I make.
All right, so y'all, welcome back to another episode of Motion and Success. Listen, guys, my name is Cody, and I got my co-host with me today.
And it's Io. Yo, and we back with another great episode, bro.
Yeah. I agree, man. This is definitely one of them ones. This is going to be really good. Bro. Absolutely. For sure. So today we got Herman Dolce on the podcast today, straight out of Philly, also straight out of New York as well.
Yeah.
It's semi. Okay. All right, cool. So Herman Dolce is definitely one of those top entrepreneurs in the space, crushing the game when it comes to funding, crushing the game when it comes to mentorship, and also helping a lot of people repair their credit as well, giving them the information, giving them the knowledge, and also, sharing all that information on YouTube, Instagram, sharing receipts and plugging in all those little holes that people are missing when it comes to, their business. So definitely, Herman.
So I couldn't we in New York, so I can't let you say filling in holes and not say pause, right? So I have to
pause.
I can't pause. We in New York. I gotta say pause.
Pause.
All right.
Pause. You're right. Pause.
Big pause.
That's a big pause. You're right. Right. Hey yo. But yeah, so Herman, go ahead, introduce yourself, and also thank you for coming through.
Absolutely, man. It's my pleasure. It's my honor. Thank you for trusting me on your platform to your amazing audience. As you kind of said in the intro, Herman Dolce Jr. Brooklyn made me, Philly raised me.
Yeah.
I left Philly when I was 11. I left Brooklyn when I was 11, 12. Yeah. So I can't really rep it hard no more. People be like, "You crazy? You're not from New York anymore." So I've been in Philly forever. Go Birds. We went in on Sunday. Yeah. I like to special shout out to the Giants. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. If Saquon wins, we're gonna give the MVP trophy to y'all, the New York Giants. But bro, I've been in this game for almost a decade. If we first started out by fixing people's credit, then I went down to, when you go on YouTube University and you looking for ice cream, but then all of a sudden your algorithm take you to how bunnies are made. Yeah. Same thing happened with the credit game. So I was doing the credit game, trying to learn how to become better at fixing people's credit and educating. And I tripped on some funding videos and then business funding videos. And then my life has never been the same. I ran back to my people and I started telling them, I was like, yo, if you got an LLC, you got good credit, it's 25, 30 bands. Yeah. And people just looked at me, you sound crazy. That sounds like a scam. But when you have not been taught financial literacy all your life, it always sounds like a scam. Yeah. But the people that have had a 400-year head start on us, they've been doing it.
It's normal.
Right. It's normal.
They got the life insurance. They got the credit. They got the trust. Everything.
They got the credit. Yeah. Rinsing and repeating, investing, buying assets with it. It don't work out. They bankrupt it. Right, and move on. Like our president, right? Sounds crazy. Oh, he's a loser. Nah, I mean, he bankrupt a couple of companies, but there's a couple of companies that made him a billionaire because he know how to license his name and all that stuff. That's another story. But having that financial literacy education was something that I was like, oh, credit is one thing, funding is another thing, but y'all really don't know what I'm talking about. So that's when the consulting came in. That's when Bellastone Academy was created, where I started teaching this, bringing on experts or masters on on certain topics. I'm not a master of everything, and teaching the community, and we've grown to something very special, and I expect to continue to grow it.
I definitely got to give you your flowers, bro.
Absolutely.
Because like you was actually one of the first people I personally heard talk about, you know, business credit, business funding. This was like kind of a little bit before COVID, a little after COVID, you know, before funding was kind of cool.
Cool, yeah.
So I think you had a whole slide presentation.
Oh, yeah.
And you was teaching people like how to structure your LLC.
Wow, you going back, bro.
At the end, people went crazy.
Yeah, because they never heard it.
Yeah,
before.
they never heard it.
Can I keep it a bean with you? I've been talking about this for so long. Like that slide, I still use it. I update it. It's in Google Cloud, so I can always update it. And till this very day, right? I can teach it, and to me, it's the 300th time I've done it. And then I'll be in a room of a Zoom call with 300-400 people, fire emoji drop. Oh my God, I've never heard this before.
Oh
To me, I'm like, y'all never heard this before?
Right.
They're like, no, I've never heard this before. It's brand new. Because me, I'm trying to pivot and get out this game and do other things, but I'm starting to realize so many people have never heard of this. They don't understand this, and they're excited about. They basically get hope. It's like, yo, if I get my stuff together, I can get like 10 quick bands real quick. I'm like, yeah, in your business name, not in your personal name. And here's my man, Charles Noonan, who can help you invest it and buy land. Here's my guy, Tevin, that can show you how to buy a quad in Brooklyn. Or it's just, and they're like, oh my God, that's how they do it. That's how they do it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I tell people, you don't need more money. You need credit, right? Because once you have credit, it's better than money.
Right. You know what I realize a lot of times is like, be taking a lot of consultation calls, onboarding calls, and be like, oh yeah, I can do this. I know I can do that. I can do that. I can do this. And then, you know, it opens up so many options, and you hear people that are young in their early teen, probably like 18. Literally, we just had somebody come in, and he's probably like, 18 years old?
Yeah.
My guy still has a learner's permit.
Wow.
And he's trying to get $100,000 in funding. We've got guys I've seen people that are much older that are also trying to get funding. So it's like the game is also like being spread out, you know, everywhere. You know, as long as you tuned into social media and you tune into the right places, you definitely gonna learn some info.
I was combative about that when I found out that majority of people get their news on social media. Because when I grew up, people read the newspaper or they watched CNN or Fox, right? So now when I'm hearing you get your news on social media, like, that's crazy. Yeah. And now, bro, I get my news from social media. That's where you hear about it first. Irv Gotti died the other day. Yeah. CNN ain't telling me tweeted it. You know what I'm saying? So,
plane crash, death, whatever it might be, some new financial game, you know, Experian got this new hack.
And all you got to do is do a search to see, like, let me see it on another channel, another platform. Just like if you flip through 3.6 or 11.9 in New York, like, okay, channel 11 said it, channel 9 said it. I could just go to check all the different Twitter feeds. I'm like, yo, this joint for real. Then you drop it in your group chat. It's like, yeah, man, it's real. That's how we verify news today. True or not true.
That's how it's gonna be too. I think going forward, you know. A lot of people, they just lost trust in the mainstream media, so it's just a lot. It definitely is a lot. I want to jump into your background though. Like did you went to college? You know, how did you get into the business funding game?
Okay, so we got a little time. All right, I want to steal this moment. So how did I get into this game? So, born in Brooklyn, moved to Philly, high school, went to Temple University. And then I went to Lincoln University, got my master's, right? So I'm an educated brother, right? But I tell people, my parents, who I'm Haitian, right? My parents prepared me for a world that no longer exists, right? So what I mean by that is like, yo, go get a degree, go get your master's degree, you be fine. No, you chalked. Now I'm $85,000 in debt, and I only make $50,000 a year. So I'm not going to sit here and bash education. I'm not going to do that, right? But I'm just going to do some math with you guys. If you tell me that I'm going to invest 6 years and almost $100,000 into education, and the most I'm going to make, because I was an executive director at a nonprofit, right? Pause, no. Shout out to my friend Charlene. She's an attorney. She was like, you'll only make as much money as your clients do.
Wow.
Right? So my clients, I'm working at a nonprofit. My clients are poor people. They ain't got no money. So I'm not going to make no money. So I was only making $55,000 a year before taxes. $55,000 a year after taxes is about $2,700 a month. Right? And I had a master's degree. Right? So I learned very quick, this ain't it. My parents were wrong. Right? So either...
Breaking news, and I wanted to be the first person to let you guys know that we are bringing the Motion and Success community back, guys. So listen, this is going to be the #1 community for entrepreneurship growth. We're going to be showing you, number one, how to go out and use credit to fund and scale your business. We're getting approvals every other day inside our funding company. And I'm going to be showing you what's working in today's market so that way you're not left out. Number two, we're going to show you exactly the strategies on how Motion and Success was able to grow from 0 followers all the way up to 150,000 plus subscriber and millions of views across different channels in less than a year and a half. I'm going to be breaking down that information as well. And not only that, we're going to be inviting our alumni back inside the community to be able to wrap their arms around you guys, give you more intimate information, give you that help that you guys need, so that way you're able to start growing and scaling your business. So listen, guys, if you want that kind of information, you want that kind of family love, if you want that kind of guidance in your business, if you want motion and success for yourself, go ahead and join us in the Motion and Success community, because listen, this is going to be the #1 year. We're going to be bringing back all the 7-figure earners that we went ahead and interviewed on our channel. So go ahead, stay tuned. I'll see you guys inside the community.
I went to medical school, became a lawyer, engineer, or business person. Like those are the top fields, but I didn't go into that. So what am I going to do? And long story short, I took a mentorship. And then the mentorship taught me how to test software for a living. Now, remember what Charlene said. She was like, you'll make as much money as your clients do. I'm working for banks now. I'm working for software companies. So this is the first time I'm making 6 figures. Now I'm making money.
Right.
Because my clients are making money.
Yeah.
We're testing software for banks who are worth trillions of dollars. So them throwing me 125 is nothing. And I took a mentorship. That mentorship cost me $5,000. So I gave somebody $5,000. A year later, I'm making $125,000. I gave Temple and Lincoln almost $100,000 in 6 years, and I was making $55,000. And I capped out. I wasn't gonna make no more money.
Yeah.
So very soon, I realized how important mentorship was. So if I want to be something, I have to go get it from the people who are doing it. Right. So even if I went to business school, there's a lot of business teachers that's never started a business.
That's
what
true.
are you teaching business for?
Right.
Right? You teach me all these supply, demand, and all this stuff, marketing strategies. Has a client ever paid you $100? So what you teaching me? So that was my first mentorship. Then I took a second mentorship because then I got addicted to it. I was like, well, if I gave this man $5,000 and I'm making $100, what else I need to learn? And remember, I was already doing the credit thing, right? A little bit. Took a couple of credit courses, mentorship courses. Him 500 was one of them. I paid him $5,000. That $5,000 I paid him 7 years ago, I'm still making money off of that.
Till today.
Till today, right? It literally made me a millionaire. Literally helped me make my first $1 million. So that's the story and the journey. So that's why I said I'm not going to bash education. It's the type of education that you get in and understanding the ROI that you're going to get from it.
Wow. Now that's amazing, because a lot of people don't got that insight to, sit back and realize, like, sometimes education could be, I don't want to, like you say, not a scam, but it just doesn't make sense. You get in debt, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then end up not making a lot of money. So a lot of people go on, and that's how they end up retiring, and then they're satisfied. But, to be able to have that insight to realize, like, nah.
But you know what's the thing about it is because the system has created this platform of that mindset. Yeah. So anything that shakes that mindset, oh, that's not true, it's a scam, it's fake news. Because I could just simply step back, and I broke down a story to you. I gave somebody 6 years and $100,000, and I was making 55. Right? Everybody thought, oh, you successful, like you did it, like you went to college. Like, I ain't making no money. Right? I paid this person $5,000 because if I ever would have told somebody like, yo, I'm paying him $5,000 for his course, they would have looked at me crazy.
Yeah.
Right? But that sounds scammy. That don't make no sense. You know why? Because that goes against the system that we're raised in. Right? Now, granted, there are scammers out here.
There is.
Right? There are scammers out here. It's your job to vet them out, because I always say everything is your fault. Right? You bought the course because you saw the Rolex and you saw the Corvette, and you swiped the card, right? So you were gullible.
Yeah.
Right. It was easy to get you. That's why, my tagline is success has receipts. You didn't do the research. Just like when you pick a college, you you visit the campus.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying? You go vibe check.
You do a tour.
I saw the receipts. Yep. His mentees were like, yo, I funded my client $50,000. My commission was $25. So now that's my tagline. I have a success has receipts joint that is trademarked. Right. So now I teach people, I'm like, yo, this is how you vet people. Just like you vetted your college, you vetted your employee, you got to vet this stuff. So if you got scammed, it's your fault. But now that I show people, I'm like, yo, they invested this and now they making this much money. Who got scammed in the equation? You still working. You're getting taxed on your money, right? 30%.
Right.
I'm an entrepreneur. I'm getting taxed 15%. And you don't understand why. Because no one taught you financial literacy. Because I have an LLC, I have a business, I get taxed less than you, right? But people are protesting like, yo, Amazon, they didn't pay no taxes, right? Because the tax laws were written for entrepreneurs, not for employees. Go read the tax laws and you would get that. And that will make you change your mind about stuff. You'd be like, you know what, let me go start a business or let me invest, because those two people, they don't get taxed as much. So that's why education is so important, and they're not going to teach you this in school.
Wow, that's true. I've heard a quote, not necessarily a quote. I think I was watching a video the other day and they said, yo, listen, United States is a corporation.
It's a business, bro.
Right? Everybody that has a social security number, they're all workers.
They're all workers.
Inside of United States Corporation. Yeah. So you should be able to go out, start your own corporation and be able to,
and work with this corporation,
exactly.
within the corporation. I tell people all the time, my name is Herman Dolce. I have a social security number. Right, 555-398-6739. Right, that's it. Right. They all looked up. They was like, this.
I'm like, wait.
Nah, I'm playing. So, but I know I'm in a corporation. Yeah. So guess what I did? And everybody listening to this podcast should go do the same thing. Herman Dolce LLC has an EIN.
9 digits.
9 digits. Right. Go get yourself an EIN for you. I own my name. I turned it into a business because I'm within a business. So that business gets funding too, right? So I'm playing the game that they've been playing for 300 years in this country. But I'm teaching you this game for free on Instagram. And then we want to go deeper into it. Yo, it's $50 a month. Oh, I'm a scammer. Or whoever's teaching you is a scammer. All right, bro. When Temple University, they're not scammers, I'm just saying, when Temple University and they charge you $50,000, $60,000. It's the only debt in this country that when you go into bankruptcy, you still have to pay. Crazy, right? Right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then they send you off and be like, good luck. They don't help you get a job. There's no mentorship after that. There's just you on your own. All right, cool. That's not a scam. Right? So in this country, we are trained to get $50,000, $60,000 in debt, and then we are proud of this piece of paper. We've accomplished something. Mom is proud of you. You did it. You didn't do nothing. You're $100,000 in debt. Next thing, you got to go get a job so you can pay off this paper. You got 6 months to start paying on it, right? Cool. Now you gotta go get a $50,000 car, $30,000 car, and because rappers are marketers, right? You feel like you got to get the Benz, right? So now you 50, 60 in debt, right? You still don't have a place to live. Go get a mortgage. All right, now a mortgage, 25, 250, 300,000. You're $500,000 in debt at 25, and you don't know how to make any money. And you making $75,000 a year, but you don't feel scammed. They really brainwashed you to believe all of this, and you don't believe you got scammed. That's not wild. That math makes sense to you?
It doesn't.
It doesn't make sense. But you make enough people believe it, and they're stuck under that system, and you're telling them to invest, buy assets, and da-da-da-da. I can't save everybody, and I'm not interested. It's not my problem.
Wow. That right there, it's the reality of, like, most people in the work field, because, like, me, I was working in healthcare, and I seen it, but I always seen past it, because it was like, you get a decent salary, maybe around 6 figures, and then, you're leaving, you're always at work, and then you hopping in the Benz, and then from the Benz, then you go to the house you can't afford. So then it's like a lot of people can't see it.
They can't see it.
But then they end up being at the workplace like literally every day.
Every day. 20, 30 years. And then they give you Social Security, which they might take
Yeah.
away.
And
They
it's
took
not
away
enough.
pension.
Yeah.
Now it's just 401k. Hopefully you was investing in that. Or you're chalk. You see these people, these old heads working at Walmart. You see it, right? Or you still see a 60, 70-year-old person still working. Like retirement age, I think is what, 69 or 72. I can't remember what it is. So you're just going to work your entire life. And then, you know, maybe get $1,000, $2,000 a year. So like my dad, we was talking about him offline, like he passed away, right? His Social Security check was $1,200 a month. So my dad worked for 30 years to retire with $1,200. What if his son was not Haitian CEO? What was my dad gonna do? And he taught me this is what I should do. He's like, no, go get a degree, you'll be fine. And he retired with $1,200 check coming in.
A month?
A month, bro. That's what the Social Security check was.
Nothing else?
What are you talking about, bro? You not listening?
I mean, like any rental properties.
Who taught him that?
Most times
who's gonna teach him that? Who's gonna teach an immigrant that?
It's true.
Because he was working.
Wow.
He's working to support his family. He had time for that?
Yeah.
All right, so sorry to break the episode. This message is for any entrepreneur. You really do a good job. You're killing it at whatever you do, but no one knows you. You have no social media presence. Well, guess what? You're missing out on a lot of money. Good news is I help entrepreneurs like you grow organically on social media. No gimmicks, no ads, just authentic, strategic content that converts. And if you're a podcaster, I've got you covered as well. If you're struggling to grow your show, struggling with editing, well, I cover those services as well. It's time to stop procrastinating and take action immediately. Click the link down below and book a call with me where we're gonna sit down and talk one-on-one, and we're gonna start helping you grow and create some motion and success, but more importantly, get you some leads that will convert into dollars. So what are you waiting for? Your audience is waiting for you. Let's get them to trust you. Click the link below.
It's crazy.
No, go get your master's degree. You'll make more money. Go in more debt, like you'll be fine. So when I told him I'm going to be an entrepreneur and I'm going to do real estate and stuff like that, you know what my dad taught me? Because my dad worked for Fred Trump, Donald Trump's father. Funny story, right?
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. So my dad was like, what do you think, you're Donald Trump? That's what my dad said to me, right? I knew he loved me. He just wanted the best for me. But my father couldn't see past the system that he was in.
Yeah.
And I'm fighting that system. I'm like, no, there's a better way out here. He's like, no, you're crazy, right? I remember when I took the course, the $5,000 course to do software, right? My mom was like, yo, you're crazy. Then I was making $100,000. She's like, oh, I guess you know a little something. Then I was like, yo, I'm about to quit the $100,000 job to start my own company. Oh, my mom lost it. You know, my parents Caribbean. It's like, yo, you made $100,000, you made it.
Yeah.
I was like, Mom, I could make $100,000 a month. She couldn't see that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I got the sweatshirt, got the drip, audit your circle. So my parents were one of the first people that I had to fire outside of my circle, right? Because I wanted to become a millionaire. Were my parents millionaires? No, so they couldn't teach me. They couldn't give me that advice.
Right.
So I have different circles in my life. They were different circles where they were still in, but when it came to that financial circle of places I wanted to go, I had to kick them out. I couldn't take advice from them. I had to get mentors who were at the place where I wanted to go, or at least failed at it,
Right.
so they could give me game. They're like, yo, young boy, like I did that didn't work, but they still encouraged me to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wow. Man, I ain't gonna lie, that's probably one of the most scariest things, you know, to get old. And then another thing I've heard from a person that does like life insurance, he said a lot of times is the big fear now is, you know, people are scared to outlive the amount of money that they have left.
Bro, that's everybody. Spooky times is 2025, bro. Spooky times is coming. People are not ready. Because think about it. You set yourself up, your investments, you set it up for the prices of stuff today.
Yeah.
Right? So you could tell your financial advisor, if I can make 50, 60,000 or 100,000 a year when I retire, that's good. Right? You made those plans when you were 20, 30. Now you're 70 years old, and we just talking offline. Eggs is $9, $10 right now. What do you think eggs are going to be in 30 years? But you planned to live off of $100,000. Right? And you think it's sweet. You think it's comfortable. No, it's going to get real. And I'm not going to get on this podcast and tell people everybody need to have a business. I'm not going to do that. Everybody doesn't need to be an entrepreneur, but everybody needs to be an investor. Because all the rich people, that's what they do. They invest. They invest in businesses. They invest in stocks, Forex, crypto. They invest because their money got to grow faster than inflation and other stuff and give them those dividends. They're buying property. They're buying real estate. You know what I'm saying? And they put in Section 8 people in there where the government's printing the money and paying them. You know what I'm saying? So why aren't you doing that? You know what I'm saying? So I went to my, during the pandemic, right? Temple University hit me up, ironically. They was like, yo, you alumni, we see what you're doing. We want you to talk to our kids. So I got on a Zoom call and I was like, how many people want to be worth $250,000 by the time you graduate? Everybody was like, what? How? Right? So I was like, all right, everybody 18 on the call. I need everybody to go open up a bank account, checking account, savings account. Go get yourself an LLC because you are a business. You are 18. I was like, that work study money you're making, make a deposit. 6 months to a year later, I want you to get a credit card, your first credit card, then your second and your third, right? And I'm giving them freshman, sophomore, junior, senior game plans. So long story short, we get to the senior game plan because by this time you have an aged LLC. You got 2-3 years of credit. You can go and get a $50,000 line of credit at 21 years old. You can go put a down payment on an investment property, right? Hard money loan or whatever, right? You can live in one of the apartments and it's paying for the other one. You can get into the NACA program that allows it to be 0% down, right? For your first property. And with the NACA program, you can get up to a quad. You get up to 4 units. So now you're living in one and the rent is paying for the others. Cash out, refi 20%, go get another property, do the same thing. By the time you graduate, everybody on this call should have 8 doors. And that's, they gotta be, and we were in Philly at the time, we're in Philly 5 years ago. I was like, yeah, those 2 properties should be worth $250,000. You should be making $3-4 grand a month. Everybody's mind was blown. Now these are young. I know your mind's blown. Now these are young minds right now that have not been brainwashed by the system yet. Because I broke it down to something that was very simple, and it is simple. It can be done, right? And I just gave them the blueprint. I was like, here's my email. Just hit me up. I'll walk you through it. Go to Navy Federal first. Go to these credit unions. They'll give you a couple of dollars first. Be responsible with the money. Start the relationship with the bank. Yada yada yada. Now, can you imagine a 20-year-old, 21-year-old with 2 investment properties and they living for free? You think that person is gonna go get a job for 50 grand? They're not. What they're gonna do? They're gonna do that over and over again. And when you're doing stuff like that over and over again, you're in different rooms. Yep. So you're gonna run into an old head at Home Depot while you 22 years old buying some lumber. Old head gonna be like, "What you doing, son?" "Oh yeah, I'm getting for my next property." "I'm proud of you. That's what's up. But you still doing quads? You not buying buildings yet?" "Oh no, I know how to do that." "Come here, kid. Let me talk to you." Because that's what I would do if I saw a 22-year-old in the game. Like, "Come here, kid. Let me talk to you. Sell those properties and go put a down payment on a 100 unit. It's the same paperwork. It's the same signature. You got good credit? Some kid named Herman showed you how to get a 750 credit score. You got $100,000 in credit, and you got these properties. Yo, liquidate those properties." Now that's a different. Now that kid is addicted. He's gonna do that over and over and over again, and he's gonna look like the weirdo. 25-year-old, probably a millionaire, but you got to do the work now. Somebody had to catch you when you was young to brainwash you about what the other side looked like.
It really just takes exposure, you know, that level of exposure. I remember when I was probably 19, I got exposed, and it was through network marketing, you know, but I see guys just 22 years old, bust down chain, they flying PJs, they celebrating, they making $100,000 a month. You know, this person just, retired their mom. I'm like,
at that age, right?
I'm like, wait.
You know that was possible.
I didn't think it was possible. I'm in college. I'm planning out, like you said, I'm planning out the rest of my life for the next 30 years. I'm like, all right, cool. I graduate I graduate within 3 years. I get this job. All right, cool. When I retire, I start making some more money. I probably could start another job when I retire.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what you was thinking. Because you
didn't thought,
you didn't think there was more. But once you seen it, you're like, yo. I remember, you ever seen the Steve Harvey clip where he was like, just for once, just fly first class.
Yeah.
Get the points, get the money, just do it one time. He was like, your brain can't unsee it, right? And you're gonna your brain is gonna try to figure out how to do that again, right? On purpose, right? I flew on a private jet a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
And you ever done it? Been on a private jet?
Not yet.
Yo, bro.
Not yet.
It's not like what you call it, a first class. It's a different level. Bro, my man's like, yo, we fly into Cleveland. The PJ leaves at 11. Bro, I'm at the airport at like 9 because, it's 2 hours before.
Early, yeah.
Where y'all at? He's like, what you mean where we at, bro? I said the flight at 11. I'm like, yeah, we got to be there 2 hours. He's like, it's different. That's not how it works. Guess what time he showed up? 12:30. I was like, bro, how you tell me the flight leave at 11? He's like, bro, the flight can't leave without me. I was like, the flight can't leave without you. Mind you, there's no security. Well, there's a little bit of security, but nothing crazy. I ain't got to go through TSA. I ain't got to go through all that nonsense. It was peaceful. Champagne, all this stuff around. Hopped on the flight. The car bring you to the tarmac. I couldn't unsee it. Now my brain is like, how do we do that again? How do we do that again? It's really hard to do that again.
Yeah.
I've chartered a jet one time. I went from Vegas to LA. It was 10 bands.
From Vegas to LA?
$10,000 one way. And that was a discount because I knew a guy.
Wow.
That was a price because I knew somebody, bro. But of course it was a write-off, number one. Number two, I did a podcast, right? So I did a podcast in the air. So it was a whole production. So it was a write-off.
Yeah.
And I had to write some stuff off because it was the end of the year. So I did a podcast with my CEO for my company who was coming in. So I did like an intro like, yo, you about to be the CEO of the company, da-da-da. So it was super lit. But even when she got on it, and we spent like an hour at the Clearport, and literally Floyd Mayweather's jet was right there. We was like, yo, this is crazy. People do this every day, B. This isn't a luxury for them. Like, this is how they travel. They don't travel commercial at all. So me right now, my whole grind is, how do I charter moving forward? And then once I charter, now I have to be, all right, how do I own a private jet? Because private jets are 50, 60, 75 million. They not light. Yeah. And then you got to maintain it. You got to maintain it.
You remind me of that song, I think it's by Drake. He's like, black private jet to the black truck to the hotel. I forgot how it go, but
crazy, right?
Yeah, definitely a different lifestyle.
It's different here. Yeah. What we talking about is different.
Absolutely.
And then when you're around situations like that, bro, your mindset changes in the current life that you're in, right? Because once you see it, you're like, yo, there's really stuff out here. Like, I'm bugging. You start looking at your friends differently. Like, I don't argue about certain things anymore. This is a waste because on the other side of this is something different. I want to do that.
Right.
Yeah, certain things you can't unsee. You know what I mean? And that exposure, especially early on,
exposure.
Yeah, it's super important. It's super, super important. I do want to jump into how to get the money, get the money from the banks. And I know you said first you gotta get an LLC, but we definitely gotta hit structuring the LLC.
100%.
And I know you're a master at that. We gotta get on that.
That's what I do. So before it was easy for them to print out this money, and I tell people all this all the time. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they all watching these podcasts. They watching the YouTube clips. So once we made this information available, they changed the rules. I'm gonna get a little political. I don't like getting political too much. So you see, the government took away the DEI situation, right? And it was really smart how they did it, because they attached DEI to black. So once you attach it to black, it's easy for people to vote it out. Like, oh, just because you're black, you get this. That's racist, right? But what they fail to realize is that DEI is not about black. DEI is about women too. If DEI didn't exist, women would be able to vote, have jobs, you know what I'm saying, get certain grants, right? So I say the same thing with this banking situation. The moment they found out that we were coming up with it, they changed the rules. It was a lot easier. You just got an LLC, put your home address, you cool with it. Yeah. So now I had to teach people, like, listen, they found out we hip to the game, so it has to be tight, right? So you get a business, it's got to be a tight business name. It can't be in a restricted industry. They're not going to tell you this information. So it can't be credit repair, trucking, real estate. It can't be name of my company's Bellastone Enterprises. It can't be Bellastone Credit Repair. It can't be Bellastone Real Estate Company, because that's a high risk. They don't like giving money to businesses like that. Number two, you need to have a real business address. Herm, like, I just started. I can't afford that. A bureau business address. Well, you can get a registered agent, which is like $50, $60 a year. So you have a real business address, or you can get a virtual address, right? Which is like $100 a month, right? You need to have a real business phone number. You need to have a website. You need to have a real business email. So my email is info@bellasoneenterprises.com, not bellasone@gmail.com. You gotta look super legit, super real. Because like you guys said in the beginning, United States is a corporation. So your business got to be set up just like the United States stuff is set up. You walking into Chase and trying to get 50,000, but you got your home address on your LLC. What you talking about? Would you do business with somebody who wasn't set up properly? Would you go to a bank whose email was chase@gmail? You wouldn't. You'd be like, oh, this is a scam. That's black people favorite. Trump burn me out. Anyway, so now that that's set up, that's part one of it.
Yeah.
Part two of that's the first leg of the structure. Part two of the structure is your credit score.
Right.
I used to tell people the minimum is 680. It still is, but you want a bag, it's got to be 700. Right? That's part two. That's leg two. Leg three is the credit profile. Your credit report is your adult report card, right? You got a couple of credit cards on there. You got a mortgage. You got student loans. You got car notes. You got lines of credit. That mix shows the banks that you are responsible with money. The older the credit cards, the higher the limits, the more funding you could possibly get on the business side, because the bank's going to be like, oh, okay, you had a Navy Federal credit card, a Chase credit card for 2 years. The limits are $5,000 on one, $7,000 on the other. Right? You've demonstrated that you know how to carry debt paid off. That's dope.
Right.
We'll give you $25,000 on one card. Then you go to another bank, get another $25,000, another bank, get $10,000. Now you're up almost $50,000, 0% interest on the business side that doesn't report to your business, your personal.
Yeah.
Right? So now you have this capital, use capital responsibly. Now you have this capital to invest. You know what I'm saying? That's why I told people you don't have money, you just need more. You don't need more money, you need credit. Right? Use other people's money. Because I remember some guy, when I have these conversations, you're going to clip this up. You're going to tag me in it. I'm going to post it on my Instagram. Here's what's going to happen. I swear to God. They're going to be like, oh, you teaching people how to get into debt. This is stupid. Da, 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 right?
Yeah.
My favorite response is I comment to them. I was like, that's so interesting because you're commenting on an application that somebody took business credit to build and sold it to Facebook for $1 billion on a phone.
Yeah,
that Steve Jobs took out $10 million to build the phone.
Yep.
And then some people financing their iPhone.
And some people financing their iPhone. But you in the comments telling me getting 50 in business credit is crazy. Bro, we talking different. I'm talking a different language. That's why you don't understand it. I'm talking money. I'm talking wealth. I'm talking next level stuff. So it sounds Chinese to you, so you don't understand what I'm saying. You should have kept scrolling. Don't come to a battle of wits unarmed with me. I do this for real. But yeah, so that's the structure that you need to have to be able to get these capital right now, because it used to be easier. Remember during the pandemic, the SBA money, all you needed was LLC.
Oh, yeah.
And they gave people 50, 60, 100 band, and they gave it to Louis, but that's another conversation. But they printed that money for people to flip and be up.
Yeah.
5% of the people are up. Other people just gave that money to the other corporations.
You don't think that's wild though? Like,
is it wild? Okay, 100% it is wild, but it is extremely expected. Wall Street Trapper said something crazy. He was like, "There's financial prey, like eagles, go birds, and there's financial predators. So predators and prey, right? So the predators." Bank of America, Chase, right? They'll let you open up a bank account, right? And they'll in the fine print, they'll tell you if you bounce a check, it's $35. If you're late on the credit card, $35. Banks make trillions, not billions.
Yeah.
They make trillions of dollars on your financial illiteracy.
Yeah.
Trillions. They could call you. They could send you a text message. They could send you an email. Hey, want to remind you, it's not in their interest to do that because they're going to make billions off of you. And once you bounce a check and you're in the negative and you don't pay it back, you're in check systems. Now you can't open up a bank account anywhere. Right? So that's the financial literacy that we're in. And then you gave a bunch of financial illiterate people 50 bands. And they went to, I have 3 Rolexes. All of them are used. Because the dummies that went and bought Rolexes, I went and bought them on sale. You don't know that it's used. It's a nice presidential. Got it on sale, right? Because they ran out and did it, And now they out of money. They sold a Rolex. They bought it for 50, sold a Rolex for 10. I bought it for 15. But it's worth 50. And I'm going to give it to my kid. It's in the trust to give it to my kid. Right? So no, it's not wild. Because you think entrepreneurship and investing is a scam. Not the system that you're in right now is a scam. So when they printed all that money and gave it to a bunch of financially illiterate people, what were they going to do? Exactly what they expected them to do with the money. So listen, corporations, listen, the Corporation of America, listen, Corporation of Louis Vuitton, listen, Corporation of Bank of America. We're going to print all this money. We're going to give it to, they're going to give it to the people, and they're going to give it to y'all. We up. They printed $6 trillion, and it went to Louis Vuitton. Could you believe the lines that were with Louis Vuitton during COVID?
Yeah.
And cats had nowhere to go. Where were you going? Who were you going to impress? There was nowhere to go. They gave the money. They went on vacation. They gave the money away to all those other people, and those people got rich. They got richer.
Wow.
They got richer. So, no, I'm not surprised that it happened.
So now, I kind of want to go down this conversation, but I also want to go down the strategy as well.
Okay.
So now, one time I actually heard, like, you know, they said, listen, why don't they teach these things in schools, right? There was like, I forgot how the saying went, but there was like, why would a lion teach a gazelle how to get caught?
How to get caught.
You know
financial
what I mean?
prey, financial predator. It's not in their
That
interest.
just would not happen.
It's not going to
You know
happen.
what I mean? So what's some ways that a person can go out and start, you know, they got the credit. It basically is like 3 pillars, right?
3 pillars.
So you said
structure of the
LLC,
business,
credit score, credit profile.
and credit profile.
Okay, all right, cool. So now how can they go out and get the bag? Like where's some like places that they can go, you know, to get the funding?
So I tell people the different tiers that I mess with. So credit union, regional banks, and then national banks, right? Depending on the entrepreneur that you're talking to, they'll be like, no, go to Chase American Express, get the big boys first. Me, once you're building out your personal credit profile, the easiest place to get money from is a credit union, right? I'm not sponsored by Navy Federal, but I always preach Navy Federal because you got like a 4 credit score, they're going to give you 5 bands, right? Yeah. Not really, but I'm saying, right?
They give you some.
Yeah, they give you, and that's like your first credit card. And then what creditors do is they look at your credit to see what you have, how long have you had it, and they'll try to match it. Because the moment you get a $5,000 credit card, you can go to Sun East Coast Federal Credit Union. They're going to see, Navy Federal, which is the biggest credit union in the country. That's why they have so much assets to give credit out. Oh, they gave him $5,000. We'll give him $6,000. They're not going to give you less than that, right? They're going to match what's on there. Now you got 2 or 3 credit cards on your credit report, and every 90 days you should be asking for a credit limit increase. That's how people have $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 credit cards on their credit report. Now that you have that profile with the credit unions, you've had it for a while. Now let's go get money. Let's go get a bag. So now I'll tell you, go to Chase. They'll give you up to 25. They'll give you between 25 and 50,000. Go to American Express. They'll give you $10,000, $15,000. Those are the national banks. Go to Wells Fargo. They'll give you 20, 30,000. You know what I'm saying? And there's different stacking sequences that are important too. Here's how we get our clients the bag. Understanding what credit bureaus these banks pull from, right? So when you see me post, got a client $100,000, somebody will say scam, it's not possible, right? Because I know what you don't know. So I'm going to go to American Express, 1 inquiry, get them 20 bands. Yeah. I'm going to go to Truist and get a Truist, and Truist pulls from Equifax, get them another 20. I'm going to go to U.S. Bank, we'll pull from TransUnion, get another 20. Now our client is up 60 bands, 0% interest. We go delete the inquiries, and then we go to 2 more banks. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So understanding that funding sequence and understanding who to go to is super important. Can I give one more gem real quick? Please. I got a really good one.
Please.
On the personal side. So I've been dropping this crazy. So Apple credit card, the actual iPhone Apple credit, Apple Upgrade credit card, Westgate credit card.
Okay.
And GM Goldman Sachs credit card. These are 4 credit cards on the personal side. You can get these 4 credit cards and not get 1 inquiry. You want to know how?
How?
The mentorship is $50 a month. All you got to do is go to the link in my bio, right? So Apple credit card. You go to Apple, you fill out the app, and these credit cards, the benefit with them, they tell you what your credit is going to be. That's the dope thing about it.
Pre-approval, right?
Pre-approval. And they tell you what it's going to be like. Yo, based on your credit, we'll give you a $3,000 credit card. If you like that number, You like bet. You go to transunion.com and you freeze your credit report. Go back to the website and accept the offer. Boom, it goes through. Now you got a $3,000 credit card coming. They put it on your phone. Now, unfreeze your credit again. Go to upgrade. Upgrade's going to tell you what your credit limit's going to be. Run the same play over and over again. Now, I put it on the internet now. Y'all got like 90 days before they switch it up on you, because I put it out there. So that's how you get 4 credit cards, 0 inquiries.
And it works because, for example, Apple credit card, same thing. I did the same exact thing. Same exact thing.
What they give you?
I think 19,000.
Damn.
Yeah,
they gave you 19,000, no inquiry. How old is that card?
Probably like 2 or 3 years old.
2 or 3 years old.
Yeah.
You got a 19,000 credit card for 2 or 3 years. So you already know, because you're in the funding space too. You know, on the business side, you're a $100,000 client.
Basically, because
you got a 5-figure credit card that's over 2 years old. You clearly are responsible with money. It's ball game.
Yeah.
Over and over again. This is what they're not going to teach.
Yeah.
Because I need workers to make money. I need workers to work in my factory. And I know we said we touched on this a little bit because J.D. Rockefeller, he invented schools. He invented them. The school system, the Department of Education, right? So now after the wars, mothers had to go to work too. Right? When the men were at war, they had to go to work. Now when the war was over, these factory owners was like, yo, having these men and women, this is lit. Now we have more workers. We could build more. We can make more money. Right? But who gonna watch these kids? Let's put them in school for the exact hours that their parents are in school. And let's teach these kids how to become what? Workers. And the cycle continues till this day. Get an education, stay in school. Always think about the person who's giving you the message, what is in their interest to give you the message. Right? Stay in school, go to college. And they created the whole system works perfectly to keep the people in power in power. Go to school, you get an education, you go to work, you get your 401k, and you die. It's a great plan. That don't sound like a scam to me. Wow, right? Crazy. You pay taxes on that money that you work for, right? They give you that money post-tax. And every time you spend it, you get taxed. Every time you save it, you get taxed. Every time you invest it, you get taxed. If I hand you $1 that I already got taxed for, the moment I hand it to you, you got to pay taxes on it. Right, but I'm the scammer. Right? I'm like, oh no, the tax is for us to build roads. So you build a road with my tax dollars, and then you tax me to use the road. They put tolls on the roads. In New York, I heard y'all taxing dudes just to drive into the neighborhood. Like,
the city.
Y'all wild in here. How much?
Wow. $9 without the tag,
$13.50.
Crazy.
Just to get inside the city.
Just to get inside
and
the
most
city.
times people are going for work, whatever the case may be too.
And now I gotta pay $13.50. That's another tax for me to go to work and come home. That's wild. But yeah, entrepreneurs are the scammers. People trying to give you the game. We scammers. But listen, that's how we run up a bag. That's how you get a quick little funding play for my people who's starting to build their credit profile. That's a quick little play for y'all. Age out those credit cards. Because I got to give you the long-term play. Because I'm not one of the internet teachers that's going to tell you, a quick da-da-da-da-da. Nah, this is a long-term play. Fixing your credit, 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Right? Getting your first credit card, it might be $1,000 credit card because you're starting off. You got to build it up over time. That's going to take 2-3 years. Right? You are seeing the results of 7, 8, 9, 10 years of work.
Right.
That's what you're seeing. Right? So you gotta do the work now. Because guess what's going to happen? The time's going to pass anyway.
Yep.
There's a good friend of mine. He's a doctor. He was homeless at a time. He was 18 years old, homeless. An old head was on the bench with him. He's like, how are you homeless? He's like, oh, man, And he was like, well, what did you want to be when you grow up? He's like, I wanted to be a doctor. He's like, how long does it take to be a doctor? He's like, 8, 9 years. He was like, all right, bet. So be a doctor. He's like, it's going to take too long. He was like, 8 years is going to pass no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At the end of it, you're either going to be a doctor or you're not. But the time's going to pass anyway. So that's why me being really passionate about this information, I want to get it in your hands now early because 2 years is going to pass down. 3 years is going to pass anyway. Either you're going to be up or you're still going to be calling everybody a scammer on God's internet because you didn't want to do the work. And I did.
That was a real That was a real gem right there, and I know a lot of people is definitely gonna run off with that one.
I hope it'll put a battery in their back to motivate them, right?
Absolutely.
Because I'm giving you the structure, I'm giving you the blueprint, I'm telling you what banks to go to. I'm telling you go to the banks that pull from different credit bureaus. If you want to know where banks pull from, go to creditboards.com. That's a good website where it teaches people like, all right, where does this credit card pull from? And it'll tell you because it's created by a community of people who actually got approved. They tell you what their data points is. Like, listen, I put on the application, I made $50,000, I had a 700 credit score, and this is how much they gave me. So all the credit cards, it gives you all that information. That's another great website I use for when I'm funding my clients, and then clients who want to do it on their own. That's a great place to go to also.
So like, what about like activities or even businesses like that people can get into, whether it might be investments or even like a business venture? Like what's some of those things they could plug the money in?
Bro, I'm very careful with that because I'm at a place where the advice that I give, I'm able to take risks and take losses that you may not be able to take. So I got to be careful when I give that type of advice. So when you're coming, and that's why I said fund responsibly. So that's why when you're coming to me for funding, I hope you have a business plan. I hope you have a marketing plan. One of my mentors, Storm Leroy, out of New York too, he was like, your job should be your first business partner, right? You got a job, that $200, $300, $400 you got left over at the month, that's what you start your t-shirt company with. Don't go get credit to do that because you got to execute and lose your own money. Because it's not a real loss. Because next month you're gonna have another 200 left over. So say for instance you bought the t-shirts for 200 and you sold them for 500. You made a profit of 300. You did it. Guess what? Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Become really good at it. Now you're making $1,000 a month because you've done it so much. You're like, yo, I know how to do this in my sleep. Off of $200. Then you go to your second business partner, American Express, Chase, Wells Fargo, because now you're making deposits in your business checking account. So clearly you know something. Now they're going to give you the 10 bands, 15 bands. If you did that with 300, what could you do with 10,000? Now you know how to market at this point. You know how to go on Instagram and tell a story about your brand. So that's super important. But to answer your question, what should you invest in? I'm going to say the same corny stuff. Everybody should be invested in real estate, right? Cash flow chases assets, right? So I would tell people buy assets. Right. And the different there's many different assets classes. You can buy businesses now, which is really important. I want to talk about that a little bit because the baby boomers, they're dying, and they're leaving businesses. So the government and banks actually want people to buy businesses now because it's going to keep the economy going. So the laundromat, the dry cleaners, the restaurants, right? They have SBA loans. You put the 10% down, the government will front you the other 90%, so you can purchase the business. Now, I tell people this. The cool thing to say on Instagram is credit is not king, cash is king. And I don't believe
they say cash flow.
It's cash flow. Credit is not king, cash is not king. It's cash flow. Buying things that create cash flow is super important. So that's what I tell people to do. So right now, me and my team are looking into real estate. We're looking into businesses to purchase because all these things are going to be up for sale in the next 5 to 10 years because these cats is dying and they buying it and they selling it for the cheap. So I'm like, oh, your business. So just think about it. Somebody who's been running their laundromat, because it's just easier for me to say that. It's a perfect example. They've been running their laundromat for 30 years, right? It makes $500,000 a year, right? Young guy like you post that thing on TikTok, you do this, you know what I mean? You make it cashless, right? You add a wash and fold. You go buy a smart car to do deliveries. Yeah. Now you turn that business into $1 million business because you're going to put that young blood into that business that they didn't see. Now there's just one laundromat and you could sell it for $2 million. You could sell it for $3 million. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I think people should be getting into. Study, research, do the work on it. Don't just go on HGTV and it looks simple, but there's some work behind the scene. Get yourself a mentor. Right. So these are the little things I think people should invest in. But the first thing they should invest in is here. Just like you paid Harvard $150,000 for you to be a teacher. Right. Give a mentor some money in the space that you want to get into. Right. Before you invest or purchase other businesses or get into this entrepreneur space.
I do got another question, but it looks like Io got some.
Nah, go ahead. Go ahead, bro. My man came prepared. You see that? He bought out his index cards. I ain't get it. Like, you going to talk offline. You going to try to play me. You bought index cards, dude.
Go ahead, bro. So I get into, self-development a lot, like as far as some of your losses, you know, we see you as, you know, very successful and everything like that. Mm-hmm. Just take the remote and just press the middle button. Right there. Yeah, there you go. So as far as like, you know, some of your lessons, because a lot of times is, you know, we hear you're making the 7 figures. We hear, you know, you're doing the private jets. We hear you got, you know, all kinds of success, right? What's some of like the bigger failures that you've went through? You know what I mean? That was like really trying times to the point where it's like, all right, cool. I almost tapped out.
I got a couple of stories. The losses were bad. The losses were bad. So I definitely came from the world of investing in the wrong mentor. Because just like I'm telling you, you got caught up in the jets and the Rolexes and not the receipts. Mm-hmm. So the reason why I could talk about it, because the same thing happened to me. I was like, oh, he's on a jet. So clearly he knows what he's talking about, but never saw a real estate property transaction completed, right? So I think I lost like $24,000 there. But I continued. The thing about me is that I continued. I didn't give up. And I think that's what makes me different. Somebody takes a $25,000, $30,000 loss, they're going back to work. It's a wrap. They're wrap. It's a scam, right? Especially when your own does it to you. I was another guy who hit me up. He's like, yo, you got good credit. I got all these NBA players out here. You know, we can get a couple of cars and rent them out in LA. Because they'll pay the Rolex, the Rolls Royce is $3,000, $4,000. They'll rent it out from you every month for 6-7 bands because they got it because they're 18 years old and they ain't got good credit. Oh, bet.
Let's do it.
Yo, we're talking $1.5 million in cars stolen from me. Wow. Yeah. An L. Right? So I'm not even tell you about the real estate track. Yo, yeah, just put the $30,000 down on the real estate joint. We'll do it together, right? So I'm in $1 million in tuition. Right? So when I tell people this stuff, I know what I'm talking about. I'm $1 million in. And you worried about this $200-$300. I'm $1 million in, right, of a loss. So now and I had the fortitude to make it back. The mindset to make it back, right? And the fortitude not to give up. Not to give up. Y'all got a message?
You went out?
I went out?
Nah, you good. It's 1 hour.
Oh, we in 1 hour. Oh, all right. I thought he was telling you.
Man.
All right, back. So I'm in $1 million, right? So I had to continue to have the mindset to continue to push through it because, again, remember we talked about it a little bit. I seen too much, right? And anybody who's really, really successful has taken mad losses.
Absolutely.
And that's their story.
Yeah.
So that's why the hack is to get a mentor, to pay the mentor, the right mentor, because it is the cheat code. Because when I finally found the right mentor, it went crazy very quickly. And we all say the same thing. Damn, I wish I would have known you. I wish I would have done this because our most valuable asset is time. And I could always I made back the $1 million.
Right.
I can't, the time I lost, never going to get it back.
Can't get it back. Yeah.
Can't get it back.
Now that's crazy. Like the L's really do shape you. You know, a lot of people they give up. You know, but you gotta be strong.
You gotta be strong. You gotta be strong. Stick to it. If you have a real goal, you have your why. It'll push you through it.
I ain't gonna lie. It's low key like, yo, man, you know, like a mind blown. Because it's not necessarily like a mind blown, but it's like, you know, it's like almost like when you just keep on hearing the same thing over and over, over and over, over and over, over and over. It gives you that faith. It's like, all right, cool. Because at the end of the day, like, you definitely gonna take some losses.
Definitely gonna take some losses, yeah.
You better, you know, look out for them because they're on their way. You know what I mean? They're definitely on their way for sure.
Everybody forgot that they crawled before they walked. Everybody does, right? So we fell down a bunch of times, but we forgot that we fell a bunch of times before we started walking, right? It's the same thing in every area of life. Entrepreneurship, invested, and that's why I like to surround myself with people who've done it. I pay for their time. I'm at conferences all the time. I'm learning new things so I don't fail. Or I fail quickly, because remember, time's important. Let me hurry up and do this and mess up at it. Oh, this is where I messed up, and then keep it moving.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you talking about what to invest in? We in Charles' studio right now, right? So He's one of my mentors. I don't know a lot about real estate. I know a couple of things. I got a couple of pieces. When Charles like, yeah, man, let's go up to here. We'll buy land for $700. We'll flip it for $10,000. Bro, that sounds so scammy. Right? I was like, that's a lot. But all he does is show me receipts of his mentees and his books and his deeds. Yeah, of people buying real estate. And then he shows you how to sell it for $5,000, $10,000. Right. You know what I'm saying? So he's doing something next month in Alabama. He's doing this all over the country. Right. You know what I'm saying? We're buying land for the low. You could flip the land, or you can develop on it and make even more. You know what I'm saying? And he has receipts. He has groups of people that have done this over and over again. Like, oh, there's a trusted mentor. Because he got a Maybach. He got Rolexes. But he prefers to show you the people that he's helped. You know what I'm saying? So what to invest in? Here. Mindset. And real estate.
So as far as like coming, you know, we're still early in the year as far as 2025. Like, what's some of the things that you've noticed that started changing in the industry, like when it comes to funding, that people should definitely start looking out for now?
So no doc was really cool for like ever, right? Yeah. But you know, we found out the game. Now they mad. Yeah. They mad. So the no docs is a lot harder to get now. So your credit got to be even better to get no documentation credit cards, right? Because it's credit cards, it's not usually like lines of credit or loans. That's number one. Number two, to my entrepreneurs that are really making money, paperwork, make the paperwork, right? So you got those deposits, you got those bank statements, you're doing your taxes. Now we're talking about next level funding. Now it's $250,000, $300,000 easy. You know what I'm saying? So in 2025, to my real entrepreneurs out there who's really doing the work, right? If you have your taxes, you have documents. Just imagine, no doc, we can get you 30, 40, 50. No doc. But with documentation, just a little bit. You got 90 days of bank statements, bro. Help me. Yeah. Right? You got that. Now we're talking 6 figures of funding with our eyes closed. You know what I'm saying? So in 2025, that's definitely where the industry is going right now. You have to have way better credit, and you have to have documentation to get the level of funding that we were getting with our eyes closed just 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Just 6 months ago.
That definitely is true because, you know, at one point, it's like as soon as the top of the year came,
oh, yeah.
It's like, yo, everything is changing.
Everything is changing.
You hear Trump is talking about they cancel all kinds of federal grants.
And contracts, yeah, all
contracts,
that stuff.
all of that stuff. So it's like you got to be able to pivot, you know what I mean, and still be able to find ways of actually, you know, going out and growing the business. And also another thing I started realizing about you personally and your brand, right? A lot of credibility, right? Most times is you can just speak to a person. Oh yeah, I watch Herman's content. You know, I've been following Herman. I did the trade lines. I got the name. I got the extra email. I got this. I got that. My question is, I literally just had the question in my mind, but it slid out. But my question is, oh man,
don't you hate when that happens? You setting up the question and
it was setting up real nice.
That's why
it slipped my mind.
That's why you need to write them down. You don't shit on my man for having index cards.
Oh man, I literally just had it right there.
Nah, it's all good.
Oh, it'll come back.
It'll come back. It definitely.
But I do want to know, like, you know, being a vet in the game, like, do you really think the banks, you know, based on like people's racial or ethnicity, that they kind of make a judgment based on that on giving you a loan or not?
Yes, 1,000%. I've seen it.
Wow.
I'm not gonna say the name of the bank because I ain't got their lawyer money. I got lawyers, man. I ain't got their lawyer money, right? This bank, right? I actually had a plug on the inside of the bank. I brought the plug qualified leads, and she got frustrated by seeing people who don't look like me, who are younger than me, who didn't have the same credit profile as me, get $50,000, no questions asked. But the leads that I was sending in looked like me, had 750 credit score, and they were either getting denied or they were getting much lower limits. She saw it so much, she emailed her regional manager. And then the branch manager came to her office like, why'd you send that email? Are you crazy? You got to chill. She's like, no, this is ridiculous because y'all messing with my money. Because I get paid per loans that I close. And I'm sending you qualified people. But I saw Jackson, get a $50,000 joint. But when Tyrone came in, who got better profile, y'all denied his loan for no reason. And underwriting gave me no reason. So what do you mean I can't say something? She was fired in 30 days.
Wow.
He was gone. Right? And then 2 more people in her branch was doing the same thing. They said something and they got fired too. So Jay said it in the rap. He's like, they'll never give you credit because they understand what credit is. Mm-hmm. They mad y'all. We figured it out. Mm. How are you buying and building businesses? How are you doing that? Credit. We know how to use it. We taught you, somebody who looked like you, I taught you to get a credit card and buy flat screens and PS5s and Jordans. That's what I taught you to do with it. Now all of a sudden you want to buy businesses with this money. That's not for you. That's not why I gave you credit. N-word. That's not why I gave you credit. Now you buying assets and businesses. Now you at the floor seats with me. Now you getting PJs with me. Who taught you what a trust was? Who taught you that? Who taught you that life insurance is supposed to be used while you're alive, not when you're dead? Who taught you that? So of course they're going to change the rules. They're predators. And you was always meant to be the prey. The dumber you are, the more money I make. I love when you're on the Shade Room and you guys are arguing in the comments. I love it. I'm going to let you do last night's conversation and attack each other and not talk about love and marriage and unity. I love that. I'm going to make money off your dumb ass. Of course. I get money off the views, dummy. You don't know how to, you have 1 million podcasts, but no one has a podcast network. Right? It is in my interest to keep you ignorant. I love when you call each other scammers. When he's teaching you, it's a scammer. But if I taught it to you, my God, you're amazing. I love that you hate each other. I've been teaching you to do that forever. I will grape your mother, and that child will be the house N-word, and you'll be outside, and I'll make you guys hate each other for 400 years. But you're the same people. Of course, it's in my interest to keep that ignorance up. So when you said earlier about, are you surprised that they got the money and gave it back? No, that's the system. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. And that actually brings me back to, a question we had asked. We had a previous guest that we had on the podcast, and we asked them, certain ethnicities, they come here literally fresh off the plane, and they literally get.
Let me tell you something, bro. You're not gonna set me up, King. I'll give you a viral moment if you want it. Just say what you mean. I got you. But go ahead.
I want to get your take.
Like, wait a minute. Let me set this clip up nice. So you set this clip up nice. Ready and action. Go ahead. Ask your question.
But it's really like it stirred up a lot of like controversy online, but it is some ethnicities and things like that. They come fresh off the plane. They get a store, delis. They open in sneaker stores.
Right.
So a lot of people's like, how in the world are they doing this? But yet people that look like us, we apply, we get denied left and right. So it went crazy. Everybody got different views on it. But what's your take on that?
What's my take on it? So, people who come from other countries, Indians, Chinese, Africans, they haven't been brainwashed by this system, right? So they don't know that they can't, right? I remember when I talked to my guy who owns a Chinese restaurant in the hood, right? And, we were going there for years. And I finally had a conversation with him. I was like, how'd you get into this business? He was like, oh, so when my grandfather came here, he opened up this restaurant, right? And cousins, uncles, aunts, friends, next generation came. You know what a susu is? That's their version of a susu. So now they're going to sell their business to their own, and it's a next set of people in there running the business, making the money. So now that same neighborhood, my old neighborhood, they're on the third generation of people. So it's a new set of people in there, right? So they were just taught something different. So Indians, when they first got here, they got businesses and stuff, right? That's what they know to do. So it's a stereotype that they in 7-Eleven, that they got the gas station. But guess what? It's generational information that's just being passed down, right? So if you're born here into the predatory system, that's just what you know. So you're going to do what you know. No shade. Like, it's what you know. I'm not going to say you better than, we work harder than you and da-da. No, they were taught differently than you. If they were given the same opportunity and the same information that they were given, they'll probably be up too. It's just the information that they received, right? And now they're better off. Now we're gonna go into upbringing and try to do viral moments. Like, I'm not gonna say Haitians are better than African Americans or anything like that. We definitely not gonna do like that. But I will say that my father was really hard on me, right? Because he remind me all the time. He was like, the old school. I didn't have shoes walking to school.
Oh yeah.
And he would tell me, like, this is where I came from. Leak here. I didn't have books, and it was candlelight, and that's really how he grew up. So when he said, you have an opportunity to do something great in this country, don't mess it up. So that was put in me. That's what was told to me all the time. My dad never told me, yo, you gotta worry about the man because the man's trying to hold you down. And he never talked to me like that because that wasn't his experience. He's like, we came to this country and you have an opportunity to do something great. You come from nothing and become the president of the United States. So literally, when Obama became president, he's like, see, I told you, right? He's like, I told you it could happen. I was like, man's never gonna be. He's like, anything is possible here. So he brainwashed me. Right. Anything is possible. Yeah. It's not gonna be a viral moment, but I think this should be okay.
It makes a lot of sense too, because I'm not even gonna lie. Like I was in like Jamaica, and I seen Indian people. They was going around looking at like different buildings. Apparently they own like a whole strip mall out there. So I'm like, they're doing the same thing that they do in America, but they're doing it in another country. So they kind of got the system down packed. They probably look at credit and loans a certain way, and they take advantage of it like everywhere. But I mean, it's out there for everyone, but I'm pretty sure like they understand it on a level where they're confidently going into the banks and knowing that they're going to get approved and whatnot. So
absolutely,
yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
But definitely, I want to get back into the funding side. So, what is some what would be like the most innovative way that you got someone funding, like that you could remember, like someone who probably shouldn't have gotten that much money, but you was able to find a way to make it happen.
I had a business owner, right? He actually had a business. He probably had like a 600 credit score, right? But this goes back to the taxes and paperwork. He had the asset of the building, he had the asset of the business, and he had paperwork. We was able to get him $5 million. $5 million. We able to get him line of credit for real estate, right? Because he had taxes, he had the business asset, and then he owned a real estate company where the building where it was. So there's levels to the game. No documents, good credit is going to give you up to so much. Little bit of documents, good credit gets you X amount. But when you have a true business making money and you can leverage the assets and the cash flow of the business, they'll give you millions.
Right.
Millions of dollars.
Even using that as collateral.
Even using it as collateral.
Most times.
Because at the end of the day, he bet on himself and he bet on the business. Because he built it this big. He was like, yeah, if you give me $5 million, it's over. You know what I'm saying? So being able to go to the bank and be like, listen, he not only does he make the cash flow, and here's his last 2 years of taxes. You know what I'm saying? Here's the business, and here's what the EBITDA of the business is. This is what the business is worth. And this is what the building is worth that he's in. And we was able to get him $5 million, and he used that to develop some crazy stuff. He flipped that money in like 18 months. He gave the bank back the money, and now he gave the bank back $5 million. and they saw the deposits also, you know, now it's basically unlimited. Now he just goes to the bank. He's like, yo, I need 15 million. They're like, okay, whatever you want.
Damn. So do you think there's like a certain mindset a person that needs to have like before saying, all right, cool, let me submit an application to get some funding? Because now you're talking about getting hundreds of thousands of dollars, or even up to millions of dollars in funding, but you got to be able to have a certain kind of mindset of handling it. Like, is there any like prep that you would say usually?
Is there prep? Well, you definitely do have to have a different type of mindset, because like I said, fund responsibly. This thing will do great things or it'll take you down, right? And it's a fine line in between the two. The mindset is preparation of what you're going to do with the money when you get it. And that's why I said earlier, your job should be the first business partner. So understanding what to do with the money, not being able to be afraid of losing it is another thing too, because you might lose it. Right. So this game is definitely not for the weak. If not, just give the money to somebody who knows what they're doing and just take a small part of it. Right. So I have investors who give me 10-15% on money. But because if I knew what they were doing, then I'll make 90-80% all the time. So understanding what you're going to do with this capital, being afraid to lose it also is the type of person that should be going into this game. If not, just leave it to the big boys.
If you could change one thing about the about the way business credit and funding works, what would you adjust? Like, what would you change?
Less documents.
Less documents.
Make it easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Make it easier, and or have some type of financial literacy, I think, behind this. Like, oh, you want 50,000? All right, I need you to watch this 30-minute video real quick. And I want to make sure you watch it. I'll probably ask you 10 questions after that. And then if you do all that, then I'll give you the money. If you approve to these terms and conditions. Right? Because then I'm giving the money to somebody who knows just a little bit. Because right now people are just running. There's people out here who got good credit, and they'll get the 50,000 and mess it up because they don't know what to do. I need people to know what to do, understand what they're getting into. Because even I say, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take responsibility because I gave out millions of dollars to a bunch of idiots. So that's why with Businessowner Academy, I'm like, all right, let me put Charles Noonan on the platform. You got 50,000, go to Charles. Oh, let me put my guy Steve Bayon on the platform. Yo, he told you how he knows he made me money in crypto. He'll show you how to invest the money. Let me put you on to I forgot my guy, Builder Bees. He invests in businesses and flip businesses. Let me introduce you to him. Right? Because now I'm getting people this money. They really still don't know what to do with it. I'm like, yo, I thought you had a business. Oh, I got an LLC. You know what? Touche. You're right. He has an LLC, so they gave him the money, but he didn't know what to do with the money. So that's why it was very important to me in this chapter of my entrepreneurship, connecting the capital that we're helping people raise and connecting them with trusted, vetted people that can help them flip the money, and everybody wins.
Right? Everybody eats, B.
Everybody eats, B.
Yeah.
No, it was a lot of gems dropped.
I definitely, I definitely got my questions answered. I don't know. I feel like I probably over prepared. I'm thinking of all the questions. I'm like, oh man, he already said that on that pod, you know?
Nah. Listen, not everybody listens to your pod.
That's
so
true.
A bunch of new people are gonna listen to my pod. One of my mentors taught me. He was like, you ever go down to bread aisle? I'm like, yeah, it's mad bread. Wow, it's mad bread.
Yeah.
And all of them sell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I've been on a million podcasts, told that story 100 times of how I got into the game. It's going to be the first time somebody heard it.
That's true.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because I'm on your pod.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I'm definitely through for sure with the questions.
Man, I appreciate it.
This
This is a
one
nice
great.
long one. The producer was like, yo, we running out of tape.
Man.
Nah, this one was great. Definitely want to close though. Like, how do you see the next 5 years for your business? Where do you plan on taking it? You want to just be the a CEO, kind of sit back, or delegate that out?
Let me tell you a funny story. Literally, I was talking to a good friend of mine yesterday. I had this conversation yesterday, and she blew my mind because she knew I do business funding, but she has a multi, I think it's like $200 million business. Like, she made that bread. So I was like, yo, you never asked me for funding. And she's like, what? I was like, why did you never ask? She's like, I was like, how do you get funding now? She's like, I don't know. She's like, I don't know. I got a CFO. She's like, I would never come to you for a $50,000 credit card. Like, what? She's like, I have a CFO. and they do that. So she literally has a business that runs on its own, CFO, CIO, CEO. So that's where I want to be in 5 years. Being a founder or owner of a business where I'm not the CEO. I'm not dancing on Instagram. I'm not doing none of that stuff, right? Buy my course and get this funding. I'm giving myself 18 to 24 months, right? My goal is to leave a hole in this industry, right? Like, yo, he's not teaching no more. No, just go on his YouTube. I want to make Bella Sloan Academy free, right? Just go get the courses. Just go watch it. The information is there. The foundation is there for you to go do something. So in the next 18, 24 months, I want to have 2-3 businesses that are making me the same amount that I'm doing now. And I'm not raising no money. I'm not raising no capital. Like Jeff Bezos is creating rockets to go to the moon because he's bored. And Amazon is making trillions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. I want to be the person who owns Apple stock and that pays me every month. That's where I want to be in 18, 24 months. So I'm planting the seeds for that now, and it's going to take a long time for that to happen. So I'm doing it right now. That's where I want to be.
Again, exposure. $200 million conversations is definitely different. Absolutely different.
She played me. I was like, damn, I need to change my goals.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know. Literally, like, I don't know, bro. I got CFO for that. Like, raise money. She's like, she's at that place in her business. She don't go to banks for money. She raises capital. So she go to other billionaires and millionaires. Yo, I need 20 million, and she'll raise it in 6 weeks. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's a different conversation.
That's a whole
you know what I mean? It's different. It's venture capital. At that point, it's not banks. She don't go to banks.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, this was definitely good for sure.
Absolutely, man.
That's different.
Cody I.O., man. Thank you.
I appreciate
you.
This was probably one of the best pods I've been on. Just flow conversation. The longest one I've ever done. This was
I appreciate you, man. Definitely coming, from Philly. We definitely made it happen.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? And it was supposed to happen a little while back. But it all happens in God's time and due time. Because remember the time when I had met you back in August around InvestFest?
InvestFest, yeah.
I'm like, let's connect. And then a few weeks later, your dad passed. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. It was wild times.
Just give him, give him some time so that way, you gather your thoughts. It's
100%.
definitely it's definitely a big change in your life, So definitely thank you for coming back around and circling the block with us.
I appreciate you.
For sure.
Absolutely appreciate you.
For sure. And I see Cody was awake this morning. Like usually we got funding. We got funding guests on, and Cody's like, "Yo, I already know this, man."
It's gonna be the same conversation.
It's gonna be the same conversation, but
American Express, yada. I knew I had to come different because you know the game, right? So I had to come different and just tell your people something different.
This one was really good, beginner friendly. People gonna learn a lot, bro.
Facts.
For sure. Super much. So definitely, just tell people where they could tap in with you. You say you got the Bella Sloan Academy.
Yeah. Definitely. So they can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Haitian, HAITIAN, Haitian _CEO on those platforms where I talk this stuff and teach it for free all day, every day. They can check out my YouTube channel, Bella Sloan Enterprises, where we do long form content. So you saw the 4 credit card play that I just gave you, no inquiries. It's like a 30-minute class where I break it down even more. So that's the free game, right? But if you want to pay for my time, BellaSloanAcademy.com. It's $50 a month. We meet every single Wednesday night. We got a Facebook group of 3,500 people strong. So this community is really dope. So tap in.
Absolutely. Tap in, y'all. We're also going to drop the link down below. So this was another episode of Motion and Success, y'all. Appreciate you for joining. Thank you guys for coming through and staying to the end. This is Motion and Success. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
All right, so here's a quick announcement before I have our guests introduce themselves. A lot of people that are watching this channel is more than likely small business owners, entrepreneurs, people that are looking to change their lives and make a lot of money for themselves. So now, one thing that I realize is there's stats out there proving that a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of business owners fail because they have lack of capital. So what I decided to do was I thought it was only right that I start having free classes every single Monday on our YouTube channel on the Motion and Success page every single Monday at 7 p.m. live in direct, where you'd be able to have your questions answered live. And this is literally a breakdown showing you exactly of how you can get funding for your small business. So if you're looking for business credit cards, business loans, business lines of credit, any kinds of funding, this is the live that you want to tune into. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel and put it on your calendar. Every Monday at 7 p.m. we are going live, showing you step by step about exactly how to get funding for your small business. See you guys on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.